Okay.
Welcome, fugitives, ship thieves, and trigger-happy alien police, to episode 339 of an Unearthly Podcast, streaming live on the 29th of January 2020. Tonight we feature Fugitive of the Judoon, written by Vinay Patel and Chris Chibnall, and starring Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, Bradley Walsh as Graham O'Brien, Tosin Cole as Ryan Sinclair, and Mandip Gill as Yasmin Khan. I am Bill Sylvia, the Man in Black, and with me are Randy Ronson McCulloch.
Oh, it's going to be a long one tonight.
Mad Matt Winchell.
I want the Half-Life 2 boat ride without the helicopters.
Tim the Enchanter Sheridan.
Ahoy!
And Thomas Fireheart.
I was going to make a joke, but I think it was a spoiler one, so I'll leave it.
Yes, so there will definitely be a lot of spoilers coming, and due to the nature of those spoilers, I think we're going to try to hold off for as long as we can, which is probably about 15 minutes.
I think we can get through the news. Yeah, we can get through the news spoiler-free. We can get through Geek Talk spoiler-free. The second we get to the episode summary, all hell breaks loose. So that said, I'm going to skip.
So that means there's no press reaction from DoctorWho.tv then?
No. I'm deliberately trying to stay away from most of the press reaction, and I'm trying to stay away from all the people on the internet going, "Oh my god!"
By the way, someone's echoing.
Am I echoing?
Randy, talk again.
Testing.
Get loud
Maybe
again.
Randy is just that loud that he's echoing.
Ah! Nope, I don't echo. Weird.
All right. Anyway,
I'll keep an eye on that.
let's skip our beginning banter and get right into it tonight, because I want to keep as much time as possible to debate this episode.
Yeah.
So-
Fast forward, Captain.
On tonight's show, we've got news.
No birthdays, sadly.
No birthdays. I looked it up. There were a couple of things that might have been, but I couldn't find a good connection piece. So, nope, they didn't get put in. We do have a death, however. We do have a lost story. Well, we'll talk about that in a moment. But after the news will be Geek Talk, which we're going to try to keep as brief as possible. Then we are going to go into the episode summary, followed by the episode interpretations, where we're going to take a look at the really big parts of this episode and see if we can figure out our own opinions on it, and try to, if we have differing opinions, try to hash them out.
I didn't write down my review of Shame, and on one hand, it's very thematically appropriate, and on the other hand, we might need the extra time today. I'm torn.
Nah, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And then the episode review, our final thoughts, and our ratings. So let's get right to the lost story.
Yes. It is the unfortunate job of an Unearthly Podcast to announce the death of Nicholas Parsons, who played the Reverend Wainwright in the 1989 serial The Curse of Fenric. Parsons is best known, however, as the host of the BBC Radio 4 game show Just a Minute, having hosted the series since its debut in 1967 until his death. Parsons was born in Grantham, Lincolnshire in 1923. He started acting while training as an engineering apprentice and was discovered in Glasgow by famous impresario Carol Levis. In 1947, Parsons debuted in the film Master of Bankdom. He also continued to act on stage in many locations, including the West End Theatre. In the 1950s, he became the straight man to comedian Arthur Haynes, and the two would be a duo until 1961. He joined the Benny Hill Show from 1969 to 1974, during which time he also became the host of the UK version of the game show Sale of the Century until 1983.
Now imagine that. That was way back when the UK would steal a US idea and put a spin on it, as opposed to the US stealing the UK's ideas and putting a spin on it. which is what they do
Mm.
today.
Yeah.
Technically, what we've been doing since almost the 80s, hasn't it?
90s.
For sure, the 90s, yeah.
When did the
Uh,
Borg? Oh yeah, Borg were around 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Nicholas Parsons died in the early hours of January 28th, according to his family. He was 96.
Ooh.
So not unexpected,
Yeah, not totally
but
unexpected. He
still
had a
kind
hell
of
of a
sad
run.
because he was still actively doing his radio show until
Mhm.
that point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's
Yeah.
it for that. We're going to move into the episode news now. And as usual, we have numbers.
Numbers. Overnight figures for Fugitive of the Judoon are in, and it was watched by a total of 4.21 million viewers, a rise of about 0.17 million from last week. This equates to 21.2% of the total viewing audience, and was once again the 6th most popular show on British TV Sunday. Doctor Who was again beaten by its direct ITV opposition Dancing on Ice, which had 4.42 million viewers. The number one show that day was Call the Midwife with 6.51 million viewers. The FA Cup was the lead into Doctor Who and had 4.59 million. The drama The Trial of Christine Keeler had 3.78 million watching. ITV's best competition was Vera with 5.31 million. We should have final figures for this episode next week.
So it looks like the Nikola Tesla one raised the bar a bit and brought some people back.
Yeah. And as I was saying to Randy before we started, I will not be surprised if we're not going to jump back up to it's like, it's not going to retroactively become like Woman Who Fell to Earth numbers, but it would not surprise me if, because of some of the stuff that happens in this, that the overall figures jump it up quite a bit.
Wouldn't be surprised if we get another 1.15 to 0.2 million.
I'm not surprised at Judoon having a big jump, just not only just for the fact of the Judoon being back, but also because I heard that apparently the big surprise was actually leaked, like the morning of for US.
Well, mind you, this is the UK people. So.
I know that halfway into the UK viewing, it was all over social media, including headlines.
Yeah.
Which means that it's a good 5 hours or more ahead of time for US. So.
Yeah, but that wouldn't affect these numbers because these numbers are completely UK.
I can't remember if the UK got a leak or not. I know we were definitely leaked though.
Yeah, well, we were leaked by the UK people watching it and then putting it on social media.
Right.
Because mind you, they get this at what, 7:15, which means that's about 2:00 our time. So
speaking of ratings, apparently Dancing on Ice just got a new judge by the name of John Barrowman.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yes.
He used to do Strictly Come Dancing, didn't he?
Yeah.
So now he's jumped from that over to Dancing on Ice.
Yep. The articles I'm seeing on that are from 3 days ago, so I don't know if he was in that position on Sunday or not. But yeah, that is an interesting.
Also, I believe.
Although actually, I'm seeing other articles that are older, so maybe he has been all season, and it's just they're doing new articles about him. For some reason, John Barrowman must be in the news this week.
I don't know why.
No, that says from 3 days ago. Meet the new Dancing on Ice judge.
Yeah, and Bill said he's found a couple that's from a week ago.
Well, I was saying I saw like some older articles of him being announced, I guess, but
still,
yeah,
he's already being announced, so it's like okay, that's actually week-old news.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're side tangenting.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. Well, yeah, it was related, but we can move on. The final ratings from the Broadcasting Research Audience Board, BARB,
Why they call it Barb when it's B
I
R.
was gonna say, did we get that backward or did they get that backward?
No. I've looked this up. I've been looking this up, and it is called the Broadcast Research Audience Board, and yet they call it the Barb.
Brab.
I don't know if they used to be the Broadcasting Audience Research Board and they changed it,
Right.
didn't change the acronym or what, but
I get that when
Brab.
it's when the acronym is for the Spanish version and then they translated it. But anyway, I don't want to get into a tangent. So the ratings are in for Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. Officially, Night of Terror has 5.2 million viewers in the UK, a drop of 0.18 million, I believe, from the previous week. 5.07 million watched the episode on a TV set, 63,000 watched on PC, 37,000 on a tablet, and 30,000 on a smartphone. That makes the episode the 11th most watched show on the BBC that week and 28th across all television, with a 22.9% share of the total TV audience. It beat out its opposition on TV, Dancing on Ice, which totaled 5.01 million viewers. And the week's top show is BBC One's Called Midwife, with 8.22 million. The Audience Appreciation Index for Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror was 79, up 2 points from the previous week, but still 3 points below Doctor Who's average of 82.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering what the numbers were on this. It's actually less people saw this one, so I'm not sure where the extras came from. Unless
I think
some
it's the fact
information
that the
came through.
people that did see this spread the word. There were probably some people that stopped watching after Orphan 55 because, well, we didn't like Orphan 55.
It was almost universally hated, to be honest. Orphan 55.
And Orphan 55 really embodied all the complaints that the Chibnall era has been getting. Whereas I remember seeing a lot of social media response last week that this was the kind of episode they'd been waiting for, one that's mostly fun and not about driving home a message.
And Spyfall was along the same lines.
Yeah.
It was mostly fun. And then you got Orphan 55, where they got back up on the soapbox. And then we got Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, which was, the message was Nikola Tesla was a great guy.
Yep. That's a message you can all get behind.
And don't be a greedy twat businessman.
And it was subtle enough that it worked.
Yes.
And I think that's all we're going to say about it. Please see our podcast last week.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, it was worth. I thought it would at least have gotten an 80, but not quite, huh?
Apparently not. No.
All right. So, in future episode news, DigiGuide has given us the name of episode 7, and it's "Can You Hear Me?" which should be the first.
The Lone Cyberman. No.
Should be the first Doctor Who episode to actually end its title in a question. Here's what we know on the cast. Claire Hope Ashady is listed in the cast, and we assume that he's playing the blue-robed alien wizard thing that we saw in the season 12 trailers.
Okay. So that's not the official casting name for the character.
No. They showed a picture and noted the names of it, so we don't know the name. But that's the picture. Likewise, we don't know the name of the character played by Ian Gelder, who is the black-robed bald wizard thing that we saw in the trailers. Also in the cast list is Aruhan Galileva and Nazreen Hussain. We do not know what role they're playing. Blom Thinking is in there as Ryan's friend Tybo. I think we saw him as in the basketball at the beginning of Spyfall.
I was going to say the one of his friends from a basketball game, probably.
And then Bhavnisha Parmar plays Yaz's sister Sonia. We saw her also, I think, in Spyfall.
We saw her family very briefly in Spyfall.
And I actually got double. We do know who Nazreen Hussain is playing. Apparently playing a character by the name of Anita Patel. So there we go.
Not ringing any bells, so okay.
Yeah, I don't know. My brain goes to Harry Potter and goes, is that frickin' Pavarti and Padma's relative? I know.
It's a very common Jane last name, I believe. So it's I want to say Southern India, but I'm not an expert, and I'm probably wrong. So,
So
All right.
just gonna internalize that
Right.
hypotheses.
And then that's all we know about the episode right now. We do not have a synopsis. So we can basically go through. I think there was a one line that we got from information. It's one of the characters, the blue wizard thing, was quoted saying, What do you think it feels like for them to be such tiny ephemeral fragments of existence?" So we're dealing with probably Eternals.
Something on that
Fuck.
level.
Yeah,
wonder if they're friends with the Master's friends.
we don't know. I don't really care at this point because we just do not have enough information. Anyway,
I think we're slowly getting to the point where the episode's going to be then the title will be announced at noon, and then the episode will air at 8.
it's getting there. Yeah. Well, we still have Praxius to go through before we get to episode 7. So they're giving it to us at least a week and a half ahead of schedule. So, but still, we don't have a synopsis, so we won't know that until next week, apparently. Talk about keeping it close to the chest, Chip. No, seriously.
Right.
Anyway, that is our episode news. We do
Someone-
have a little bit of cast and crew news.
Someone needs to lighten his grip before his arms break off. Chip, no news.
Someone is unavailable at the moment, so maybe I'll read this one.
Hmm.
All right. Jodie Whittaker sat down with Entertainment of Doctor Who. While in the chair, she dropped an exclusive. "Yes, I'm doing another season," she confirms. I forgot that news dropped this week. It was a big big week for things.
Mhm.
That might be a massive exclusive that I'm not supposed to say, she continued, but it's unhelpful for me to say I don't know because it would be a massive lie. I absolutely adore it. At some point, those shoes are going to be handed on, but it's not yet. I'm clinging on tight. Jodie also responded to questions about the criticisms of her episodes with a statement that she doesn't pay much attention to that. "I've seen loads of fan art, which I always love, but it's never been that great for me to immerse myself in noise that you can't control, good or bad. I think both are a rabbit hole that you shouldn't necessarily go down. We know that we work really hard for the show to be the best it can be in this moment. Once it's out in the ether, how people feel, in a way, is kind of irrelevant." Finally, she talked a bit about the upcoming Cybermen episode. "They've got a lot of presence on set," says Whittaker. "When they move in unison, it's incredible. It's really exciting." So there is more than just a lone Cyberman.
Nope.
Well, we did kind of see that in the thing, but
Okay. I remember a trailer showing one. I didn't think we had seen more than
no,
one.
we didn't see it in the trailer. We saw it in the photos that people took from.
That's right.
Ah.
We did see it in the photos that were
Yeah.
during filming.
Anyway, that is the extent of our news. There was nothing major coming out of Big Finish except for, oh yeah, we've cast these people and these people to make something eventually.
Some comments on Jodie Whittaker's interview, though, really quick. I do
Okay.
totally agree with her on the try to ignore the noise kind of deal, because too many people, even in YouTube, can get too attached to the noise and they just get sucked down that rabbit hole
Mm-hmm.
real hard and real fast. However, I can't agree with her at all about the it's when it's out in the ether, don't pay attention to it, because sometimes, at least not her in particular,
Mhm.
but the people running the show need that feedback.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
that's
they
the
don't know
thing,
when
though.
to do it so
Not
bad.
her, that's
I-
Chibnall that needs
I
to.
think
Yeah.
what she's basically saying is that as an actress, once she's made the show and it's done being produced and it's out there,
There's
can't
nothing she can
change
do
it.
at the moment.
It's
Yeah.
irrelevant. She's not actually a time traveler, so the feedback is irrelevant at that point in terms of her role at least.
Yeah, and the fact that she's not the creator, she's not the writer, she's not the
Mhm.
producer.
She
Her
can just
job
do the best
is-
of
her-
what
her
she's
job-
got. Yeah.
Yeah, her job is given a bunch of lines and go through and act them to the best of your ability.
And it's not like
Although
it's not like
a
any of
little
us
bit of
are.
input though on how she's
I-
doing might be
Mhm.
helpful though too once in a while.
I,
But
I also I
that's
don't think I've seen any
irrelevant.
good faith criticisms of her performance
Yeah, I
to the
haven't seen
point where
any.
she could actually take like where that she could actually
Yeah,
learn from
that's
any
to be
of it.
determined. And yeah, her asking the mob what they thought
Mhm.
of her performance is just asking to be
Like,
shouted at from
the
all directions.
the only substantial criticism I've seen is I hate her accent, and she's not changing that. Sorry,
mhm.
it
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
she won't change her accent. Sorry, no.
The days of the star having massive input on the creative team are pretty much gone.
Which is
Um,
kind of sad to be honest.
I mean, that's kind of what got Tom Baker and John Nathan Turner at Loggerheads back at
True,
1980.
but that's also what made Tom Baker the most lovable Doctor of all for a very long time. Because he knew what the fans wanted and he was willing to give it to them.
Mhm.
I think like I could imagine that as the star, she has a certain amount of I'm absolutely not willing to say that period, and if she does it very rarely, they'd probably go along with it. But
Yeah.
if she tried it every episode, they'd be calling their agents like we need a new doctor.
That's
Mhm.
true. All right. So yeah, that's our news then.
That's all the
All
news.
right.
All right.
It's
Let me
big to
get a
say.
stopwatch here, quick.
Okay.
Boom. And all right.
Boom.
So first up on the checklist, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, season 3. Go, Bill.
Yes. So season 3 came out on Friday. So this season of Sabrina, it was my least favorite so far, but in the way that like Buffy season 3 wasn't quite as good as Buffy season 2. Like I still enjoyed it. It just wasn't like it didn't quite hit the high notes of the first 2 seasons. Part of that is because they kind of exhausted the real witch mythology they were using, you know, all the Malleus Maleficarum and all that stuff. So in terms of mythology, they really drew one from the Bible and two from Greek mythology. And that it didn't like they were kind of separate mythologies even within the show. So it didn't mesh as well as the real deep witch lore they were using before. There's a lot of interesting personal stuff. They dealt with kind of a PTSD and drug addiction angle, but not very deeply. So I think if you enjoyed the first 2 seasons, probably keep watching. But if you had no interest before, you're not going to have any interest now.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. That's just a quick minute go over. All right. So I got 2 items to talk about really quickly. First item here is going to be Torchlight. Torchlight is a action RPG. It was made by an indie company. The indie company has since then, after this, the sequel, and another game, been bought up by Perfect World. Sadly, most of the company is gone, but some of them are still working on the MMO, which has now been redubbed Torchlight 3. Torchlight is a little bit light on plot. They give you a lot of in between at the end of each section of the dungeon before you go on to the new area. Mostly the what you get is commentary from the main villain you've been chasing down deeper and deeper into the dungeon, as well as an excerpt apparently from his lost journal, where he describes his journeys into the caverns underneath Torchlight. Essentially, Torchlight has been a village that's built on top of a huge mine for this stuff called Ember. Ember is essentially like a magic gemstone. It comes in a variety of shapes, colors, sizes, you name it. It can be physically grafted to weapons to make them magically enchanted. It can be studied for both science as well as spell casting. It's been used for making steam golems essentially in the universe. And for whatever reason, there's a huge amount of the stuff in Torchlight, but as people have dug deeper, they've begun to realize there's some sort of corruption to the stuff. Once you find this mage that's been possessed and you start chasing him deeper into the caverns under Torchlight, you begin to also realize that he's been corrupted by a being underneath Torchlight, and essentially you find out that this being is a giant dragon who you then have to slay and try to eliminate the corruption. And that's basically the roundabout of Torchlight. It's a looter RPG, much like the original Diablo. Like I said, it's a little light on the story, but the visuals are nicer. I hear the sequel is a fairly direct follow-up that happens like a month or two after the events of the original, so I'll have to see how that goes. Otherwise, it's a fun romp. Nothing too deep, but it was a nice little time spent. Um, so my next one is River Sea Ransom Underground. It's supposed to be more or less a direct sequel to River Sea Ransom that happens a number of years later. The main characters from the first, at least American NES game, are also involved in this. It's the game itself tries to appear like a 16-bit game, and initially it did start off pretty fun, but as both myself and the group that we were playing with continued to play through this game, we got kind of annoyed by several things in the game. Um, One thing is that one of the things they added for Underground is that there are civilians in a lot of the areas you're fighting against other enemies that are essentially members of gangs, and the civilians quite literally purposely run right up into your face so they can try and get hit because there are a lot of moves in the game that cause you to have a forward motion as you're attacking enemies. That means the civilians are literally going to stand right in your face and wait to get hit. So that way you can get in trouble, which causes police to spawn, and the police that spawn are extremely tough to fight and drop zero money, and the money is what you need in order to level up your characters. So it turns into a real mess. I got angry. One of the other guys frequently also got angry. Um, it got so bad that after a boss fight, which also that's a new one too for River City Ransom, is that boss fights never had multiple stages before for River City Ransom. Yeah, there's tough enemies and stuff. Don't get me wrong in the previous River City games, but I never had one of them defeated and then come back as a giant room devouring monster before. So that was kind of annoying and last minute. But that basically kept us from reaching the end of the game. I got extremely upset. One of the other guys was getting upset with how upset I was getting at the time, so we're just like, you know what? I think we're done. We just kind of agreed to be done with it, and we've stopped the playthrough. A lot of us, except for the one guy who didn't really get upset, I think was possibly still getting annoyed with the fact that he was trying to help guide us through the game because he was constantly looking up walkthroughs and stuff. So yeah, River City Ransom is not a Underground is not a recommended game. I would recommend either the original or I hear River City Girls is actually really good too. I have to play that sometime. All right, got those in about 2.5 minutes each. And I guess we're up to the show then.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
So who's getting time tonight?
That
It's
would be
Thomas's
me.
turn. Yes.
All right.
Which is
ready?
funny because
Although, before
yeah,
we
a few
start,
things that changed.
we will warn that after this, there are going to be spoilers. Lots
Mhm.
and lots of spoilers.
Yes.
So
We
if
will
you
spoil
didn't want
everything.
spoilers, this is the point you should have stopped listening. And if you were here for the spoilers, this is where you want to start.
God thyself. All right, ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, we open on a woman named Ruth going about her day on her birthday when suddenly a Judoon ship shows up in orbit. An alarm on the TARDIS alerting the Doctor to this, who was trying to track down the Master. The Judoon beam down to Gloucester and start to catalogue anyone they find, killing an elderly woman who tries to run. When Ruth's husband realizes the Judoon are around, thanks to the Doctor mentioning it, he runs off to find Ruth as Graham is teleported away. Before the Judoon can blow up Lee and Ruth's apartment, the Doctor talks him down, allowing her to get in and try to get info out of Lee, only for Lee to convince them all to leave and take Ruth with them to keep her safe. At the same time, we find out Graham was grabbed by a returning Captain Jack Harkness, with a tech he used to scoop Graham up having been imprecise, as he was trying to get the Doctor. Yaz and Ryan go out to tell the Judoon they can come in, only to be scooped up by Captain Jack as well. As Ruth and the Doctor get away, the woman who hired the Judoon appears and kills Lee, who it turns out is not the fugitive they're after. Ruth and the Doctor end up in a church, only for the Judoon to show up and declare Ruth is the fugitive they're after, with Ruth lashing out and disarming a Judoon, ripping off the leader's horn, and making them retreat. Ruth later admits she got a text from Lee giving her a clue to go back to the lighthouse she claims to have been raised in, the Doctor taking Ruth there. Meanwhile, Captain Jack realizes he needs to make a getaway because the ship he stole is finally fighting back against the theft. He leaves the companions with a warning for the Doctor about a lone Cyberman before they're sent back. When Ruth and the Doctor get to the lighthouse, Ruth finds there to be a fire alarm of some kind and breaks it, revealing to be a chameleon arc. As the Doctor finds a police box TARDIS buried near a nameless gravestone, with Ruth coming out in a new outfit and claiming to be the Doctor, teleporting them both onto the TARDIS, onto Ruth's TARDIS. After some back and forth, where they realize they are in fact both the Doctor, the Judoon ship brings Ruth's TARDIS up onto the Judoon ship. The woman who hired Judoon, who we find out is named Gat, takes Ruth's weapon from her, and despite Ruth's protests, the Doctor reveals herself, with Gat being confused, and the Doctor realizing Gat is also a Time Lord. Distraught by what she sees when the Doctor shows Gat what happened to Gallifrey, Gat fires Ruth's weapon at her, only for it to backfire and kill her instead. Ruth threatens the Judoon and leaves with the Doctor, dropping her back in Gloucester, where the companions run back into her and mention Captain Jack's warning. The Doctor is clearly run down by these revelations, but the companions manage to cheer her up. The episode ends with the TARDIS bringing up warnings coming from multiple continents on Earth, with the Doctor and companions deciding to investigate. The end.
All right.
Hey, stop. Stuart, I didn't want to stop. That was 3 minutes, and I think it was a couple seconds back, so 3 minutes and 7 seconds?
Mainly glad I managed to fit that under 5.
All right.
There we go. Reset.
And yes, Bill, there's a reason for that, and we'll discuss that.
Okay.
Okay. So let's start in trying to interpret this episode, and we'll start with the easiest interpretation, and that's the Judoon.
Mm-hmm.
We actually did a little bit of this conversation prior to the podcast, and we were comparing pictures of the last time the Judoon were actually in Doctor Who, which was Smith and Jones, 2007.
The Judoon platoon upon the moon.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And the Judoon are pretty much a new redesign. At very least, the Judoon mask is.
For sure, the mask is. I'm still arguing that most of that suit's got to be the original. Most. I'm pretty sure there's parts of it that got updated.
I guess it
looks
depends
like a different
on if
species of rhino, like that it's based off a different type of rhino.
This one has apparently an additional horn, either an additional horn or hair.
No, that's
I'm
hair.
not sure. That's hair. Because he's got
Mohawk.
basically a crew cut going on there. And the lines on the rhino's face are deeper, more ridged. Although
I think the paint job brings it out in particular on the new one.
And but it still has some of the same markings.
Smaller
They
ears.
were using the same mask, yeah. Other
Likely
than
it's
that,
just a very similar design, just that they add new things to it.
Yeah.
The Judoon tech has changed a little. The guns that they're using looks different, and the tech scanner they have is obviously different.
Yeah.
One thing I find interesting, all 3 Judoon stories so far have all been set in the modern day. You don't see that very often nowadays.
No. Making the Judoon a contemporary species, because I don't think they have time travel.
Nope, not yet.
But I mean, Doctor Who has a history of accidentally giving a species time travel that shouldn't actually have it. They just forgot that.
Cybermen.
Yeah.
And
well,
sometimes.
yeah.
So the Doctor
Centaurans
violates
are
the
probably more
Prime
clearly.
Directive all the time.
Yeah,
I mean,
species that had never met the Doctor, all of a sudden hating the Doctor hundreds of years early.
Mhm. I mean, at least when they gave the Daleks time travel, they chose that in the episode. They wrote the
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that was actually a plot point in one of their episodes.
Whereas
Mm.
the Cybermen, they first meet them in 1986, and then we see them upcoming in the early, the early 2000s to suddenly have them invading London in the 1960s.
Yep.
That was kind of the wait, what moment? And then the next time we see them, it's like the frickin' 50-something century, and they're there.
Mm.
Apparently at the end of a giant war, and then it just kind of went back and forth, back and forth.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, then,
And then
then also I believe the Cybermen also invaded those people. I forget who they were with the Sixth Doctor, and they learned time
the
travel from there.
Cryons.
The Cryons.
Yeah. Well, they stole
they
time
stole
travel, I
time travel.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They decided to fix the issue by having them steal time travel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I just realized that I might be in. This might be a contradiction to myself. Were there any Judoon at Stonehenge?
Hmm.
I know there were Santarans. I don't know if there were Judoon.
There might have been Judoon there, but if so, we can assume that they hitched a ride with one of the other time-faring races.
A possibility.
Since this was a major conglomerate plan by like all of
Yep.
the Doctor's enemies.
Yeah, and yep, there were Judoon at Stonehenge, and they were the 10th Doctor ones.
So they have been in
So I was
one
wrong.
story
Yeah.
that's not been contemporary.
Yep.
But like I said, we can almost assume that they might have hitched with another group.
Yeah.
Damn it, Moffat! You ruined time.
Anyway, so other than that, I mean, Nick Briggs is back doing the voice of the Judoon.
Mm.
I'm perfectly
And
fine with that.
yeah, I'm fine with that because
Mm.
he did it the first time.
Mm.
Much like the dogs, these are his babies. These were one of his original babies.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also the first time we actually see a Judoon ship, which basically looks like a giant Pringles. Which that only occurred to me earlier.
We
And I was
saw
like,
the Judoon ships in Smith and Jones because they landed on the moon.
ah.
Oh, that's right. We saw a landing thing. Yeah.
But they did. They looked like can of Pringles coming down on the moon. Only somebody spray painted it black and put little feet on it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's pretty much just the same design. So the Judoon were handled well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to the next one. Captain Jack Harkness.
He'll get you high tonight and take you to your special island.
He got to say hi to a bunch of people, and the Doctor didn't even get to stop him.
No. Stop flirting, Jack. Yeah.
He even kissed one.
He did it. Yes.
That's how he opened.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
True, that was before the greeting.
yeah, that was like it's been 10 years since we've seen Captain Jack on Doctor Who. It's been almost that long since Torchwood. I mean, the last time we saw him in canon, not including Big Finish audios, was Miracle Day.
Yeah.
So
Was Miracle Day before or after End of the World?
it was after.
That's right, because End of the World was right after Children of Earth.
Yep.
Okay.
And that was after RTD stepped down as writer.
Mhm.
He basically went to America to try to pitch Torchwood to the Americans. And that's what got the stars to co-sign on for Miracle Day, which they regret because yeah.
Whoops.
That put
I
them
do
in
love that.
that put them in a decline that they didn't recover to until they got Ash versus Evil Dead.
Long if you can.
I will say I do love how meta his first, like, once he appears, his first line is. It is like very much a "Did you miss me?" And he's basically talking.
Yep.
You could argue he's,
He's talking
to
to the audience. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm back.
And,
Did you miss me? Yeah, it's just
And if we remember from I forget if this was a rumor mill or what, but apparently he basically renovated his place in Cardiff as a cover story to explain why he was in Cardiff while filming.
Really?
Wow.
Like it was originally a cover story, and then he didn't want it to be a lie, so he just did it.
That's dedication to your role.
Is that how he hurt his neck?
No idea.
Mm.
Yeah, because apparently he was rushed to the hospital early December
Hmm.
for a severe neck injury.
Hmm.
Mm.
Apparently he's doing better now, but yeah,
Yeah.
he almost wound up like Christopher Reeve.
Hmm.
Mm.
So that's why he's a judge and why he's not dancing on the ice, I guess.
Yeah,
Mm.
but
Take it
knowing
easy
him,
for a little
he'll probably dance at the judges' table.
If he gets hyped enough, yeah.
Every now and then, John Barrowman does something that qualifies him as a live action Muppet. Case the point, if you ever saw him dancing to the Mr. Blobby song on Nevermind the Buzzcocks, he does actually look like a Muppet. It's kind of scary. They've made animated GIFs of that. It's frightening.
So with Jack, in my initial watch through, I was a little irked, and that was because I figured after all, through Torchwood, he more and more became this melancholy, stoic, standoffish guy who had been trapped, underground and etc. for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And then here he was kind of like series one Doctor Who Jack, and I was like, it didn't sit right with me.
He's
But
always
looking
been
back at
lighter.
it, yeah, that's part of it, and I figured that was a cheap gimmick. But part of it, I figured, you know what, he might act. He had some time to himself. He was able to recover from his grief, and he might actually be that happy at the prospect of seeing the Doctor again that
To be
it's
honest,
not
that's
entirely
my
out
theory
of
on
character.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while
It's been
since.
quite a while even for him, and it's
Mhm.
like, you know what? I'm just gonna go out and enjoy life again. And oh my god, I come back to see the Doctor. Yes.
I generally,
The fact that he had to run the
I-
controls is the only thing keeping him from humping the console.
Yeah. Again, like Spyfall, this is another one of those things where I'm like, thank God Chibnall can keep his mouth shut. Like, thank God
you
he has like a
imagine-
lockdown on this shit.
Can you imagine how much he had to fight with the marketing team?
Oh.
Because like I just every time something like this happens, I remember back to John Sims' return being spoiled.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm wondering about that. If Chibnall had to make some threats
Yeah.
to keep them from going, John Barrowman is coming back to Doctor Who. No.
It's basically
I'm pretty
like
sure BBC has actually been on Chibnall's side for making people hush up, and it's got to the point where I think it's actually cost some people jobs to keep things
Alright.
hushed.
Yeah, for me it's funny because it's like it's as if the marketing team are just Oliver being like, "Please, sir, can I have some more?"
Okay. So he said he will be back. Does anybody want to take bets on when?
Well, we're too
Two-part
far off for it
finale?
to be the 60th.
No, I'm thinking this is definitely part of the series plot.
I would like to say it's a series
episode
plot,
9 would be if I had
but
to
at
put
the
money
same
down.
time, I'm sitting here going, when are they going to throw him in? If they're going to throw him in again. The question,
be fair,
I
I
think the
can't
big question
answer
is,
'cause
how
I'm
long was he in there for recording? And we honestly don't know.
Right. Probably longer than it would take to do just one episode. Although it was interesting that it seemed like he was there on set and the Doctor was on location.
Mhm.
Well, actually, yeah, he was in Cardiff, and the episode probably, I don't know if it was filmed in Cardiff, but probably not.
No,
Do we-
they would have been on location in Gloucester for
Mhm.
this.
Okay.
So apparently he was in Cardiff while they were in Gloucester.
Do
And
we
they
have any
moved the
idea?
companions over to Cardiff for a day to do the filming with Jack.
Do we have any idea where the finale was filmed?
All over the place.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be my theory too. If they're actually doing a big end of season,
Mm-hmm.
It'd
So
be all over the
probably
place.
he could pretty much appear in any of the major Cardiff sets, as well as anything indoors. Definitely would be pretty simple.
Could
So
be plausible. Yes.
I have heard an aside comment that John Barrowman has said that he is not coming back the rest of the
I
series.
thought I heard something about that too. But I wasn't sure.
That this might be the new setup for the next part of the long game that Chibnall plays.
So set up for next season.
Yes.
So
next
like
season
how
really better start paying the bloody hell off.
Sort of like how Timeless Child was like a throwaway reference last series, and now it's
it's a
kind
thing.
of
It's kind of growing into a thing, yeah.
Yeah, so we know there's going to be something with the Cybermen this series because they were seen filming. So we know his comment references this season.
Mm-hmm.
But whether that fallout's going to continue into the next season is going to become the question. So that's the question. Are we not going to see Barrowman until next season?
Or
And
did
as I
you
said
say
bef-
that because Chibnall got his own snipers?
That's
Yeah,
also
that's the
the
other
case.
question too. Yeah, does he have to, does he have to troll
I mean,
us
we-
because there's
We
snipers
know
on the
there's all
rooftop
kinds
waiting?
of spy equipment at the BBC now.
Oh, of course there's spy equipment at the BBC. They had the Third Doctor there. He was actually legitimately a World War II spy.
Yeah, it would both not surprise me if he's lying to throw people off, but also it wouldn't surprise me if he had said that and meant it as a way to like, okay, don't get your hopes up seeing me again this series.
Yeah, either is a distinct possibility, to be honest.
It's like I just picture like Chibnall with a gun to his back. He's like, oh no, I'm not coming back to this series. No.
If there's an image I could get of Chibnall real easy in my brain, it's suddenly him holding a shotgun to somebody's head. It's like,
that's a nicely healed neck. It'd be a shame if something happened to it.
Him holding a 254 patent in the other hand. It'd be a shame. Real shame. Hurt that pretty face. Yeah, there's a possibility. Was there another thing now, or are we done with this one?
Is there anything else anybody wants to say about Barrowman?
Not that probably won't be covered when we actually get into the
actual bits, yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the next one. And the big one.
Oy.
I guess as the internet has coined her, the Ruth Doctor.
Yeah.
So creative. But that's all we know about her.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
we
I was gonna
know.
say, there's a reason I just ended up referring to her as Ruth in the summary, because it was like, I don't want to have to keep saying the Doctor and the other Doctor.
My original assumption was that she was something like the Burner Doctor or the Unbound Doctor, which are both doctors from different universes. But
technically, I would have let that go if that was the truth.
Yep.
But Chibnall opened his
ahead,
mouth
Matt.
about it.
Yep.
Oh, what did Chibnall say?
Chibnall had said, and this is point blank, she is the Doctor. Our Doctor. She is the Doctor. End of line.
I believe I saw a line him specifically saying there's no alternate universes.
There's
or
no
anything
alternate
involved.
universes or any such nonsense. This is legitimately our Doctor from our universe.
Huh.
Okay, that does not kill my theory, which I will give to you guys in a bit.
Okay.
Anybody else want to chip in on that?
Honestly, the funny thing is I see some people trying to rationalize, oh, well, we've seen every Doctor ever and this and blah and whatever, but it's like, all that, every time people would say that, my mind just keeps going back to, the Master told us everything you know is a lie in Spyfall. So, we kind of have to... I mean, it's the Master, but still, it wouldn't surprise me if you take that into account. It could be anything. Like, the Time Lords have always been kind of fuckheads. So, this could be any number of
your
things.
logic just my logic down to the pathway that I don't like. Sorry.
All
I
right.
don't like
Anyone
it.
else?
It wouldn't surprise me if she was a war doctor, technically, actually. They did bring the Master back.
I'm trying to pick and choose what I was trying to say now, what I might try to say later. I'm not sure what I want to do though. Like what are we gonna cover with this?
Anything we say in here will not have bearings on favorite and least favorites. Any of that.
Okay. I will say that her and Jodie Whittaker had some really good back and forth.
Yes.
If out of anything else, I can at least one thing positive I can definitely say for sure right now is that that was a nice, good interaction.
Mutual bitch fest. Yes.
So-
Not quite as good as Tennant and Smith's,
Yes.
where they start where Tennant starts making fun of Smith's screwdriver. And then Smith is just like, "Oh yeah, well I'm not the one wearing sand shoes." Yeah.
It's gonna. I was almost gonna say it's a bit Pertwee Troughton, but that might not be a decent comparison either. But I guess it's more like one is clearly the straight man, and Jodie is more the goofy one.
Kind of, sorta.
In terms of Ruth Doctor's personality, she's definitely and I know this is partially before she gets her memories back, but she's more martial than almost any other Doctor.
She's kind of darker
in terms of her reaction to the Judoon. Like the only Doctor I could see immediately pulling out some martial arts and beating a Judoon's ass is Pertwee, and I don't know if he would do the horn thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure he would risk the horn thing either.
I guess maybe the War Doctor might, but
maybe the War Doctor too, depending.
So this kind of makes me wonder if it's a sort of yin and yang, like split regeneration at some point thing.
I have seen that theory come up. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some issues with that. Because if you're thinking that it's like a split off of Jodie, why would that?
I have no idea where the split would have happened, to be honest. But
I mean, I've seen arguments for after Matt Smith, because he got a new cycle.
No, still won't work. We've seen every regeneration immediately.
So which ones have we not seen? We haven't seen 2 to 3.
And that still doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still very wonky.
7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the only one we haven't seen.
There are no gaps. There are no major gaps outside of maybe 2 to 3, and even then, I'm like, I don't know. That's where you could be able to squeeze something in.
I'm wondering if that's why some people are speculating that she predates Hartnell, and I'm going to say I'm pretty sure not, for a variety of reasons.
Yes.
If they do try doing that, I'm giving up the show.
Then we'd have to find somebody else to stream these.
If they do that, I'm going to be legitimately livid.
My issue with that is the fact that that particular Doctor then did not instantly recognize the sonic screwdriver. By the second incarnation, it was the second Doctor that introduced the sonic screwdriver.
Actually, yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting about that. People have been shouting a lot on the internet that it's got to be someone between 2 and 3. That's not right, because 2 invented the sonic screwdriver.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Maybe
And it's
not
also
all the stuff
her-
it has
first
now,
people
but
that
he
introduced
definitely
it.
knows what it is.
Yeah. And her reaction isn't so much she doesn't know what it is. It's like I'm smart enough to not need one.
Which
That's
sounds like
true,
which
too.
sounds like a fifth and sixth Doctor thing.
That sounds
Mhm.
actually a lot
Sixth
like a
and
Sixth
seventh.
Doctor thing, yeah.
Yeah.
The Fifth Doctor's like, oh, that's broken. Oh, well, I'm not going to bother trying to fix it right now. Sixth
But
Doctor's like, I'm too
Didn't
smart.
instantly recognize it when it was used. So
Mhm.
not overly familiar with it. And then, of course, the other issue is the TARDIS.
The
Mm.
TARDIS was definitely like, at least it was trying to emulate a older model look.
Mhm.
Yeah, the problem
Yeah.
is we know the BBC has an older model TARDIS set.
Yep.
Yes,
So if
which
they
means
wanted
that
the
they weren't
classic
100% with it, so...
For that
Mm.
matter, we didn't talk about this, and I forgot to mention it. Jack's ship seemed a little old school TARDIS-y too.
Yeah, but not to that extent.
Right.
I will
not
admit-
quite, yeah.
I will admit, part of it made me think of that. Oh God, what is it? It made me think of something specifically from like McCoy's run. I think it almost looked like something out of Dragonfire or something. Say maybe
Are
something
you
like
talking
that.
Jack ship?
Yeah.
Okay.
It like generally looked like it was vaguely based on scene in Old Who, but like not necessarily at the TARDIS or whatever.
That's a possibility. It did look like it could have
Mhm.
been like an upgraded version of an old school Who ship set.
Hmm.
But not anything I recognized right
Not
away.
anything I recognize offhand either.
Hmm.
And
But-
I'm specifically pointing out like the color scheme, the pattern, and the console
Oh yeah.
in the main bridge, not like the
Yeah.
exterior. Of the ship or
I must
anything.
admit, before his voice chimed in, I almost thought, "Oh shit, is this the Master again?"
No, I'm like, oh God, that's John Barrowman. Because Aaron was watching this before I got a chance to. I was getting ready to go to cardiotherapy, and I'm just grabbing my keys and putting them on my belt in the living room, and I hear that voice, and I'm like, what? Almost made me late for cardio. I'm like, no, because I hadn't heard the spoilers. Yeah.
I was spoiled by Brits on social media, and that's when I jumped into the group chat like, "Stay off social media. People are assholes." And yeah.
But anyway, if you take a look at the Ruth Doctor's TARDIS, it does look like a classic TARDIS, but it has bits added.
Has bits added.
Yeah.
Also, the color's not quite right because it's all like bleached out white as well. Whereas the classic set, which we have seen a couple times recently, does have weird bits of like seafoam green and stuff. So
Well,
it's
even
not
there,
quite. And
even
the
there-
center console in particular is different.
Even there, if they're going for a more like Tom Baker era TARDIS, it still wasn't right.
No, I'm talking like early TARDIS set, like first and
Yeah,
second.
I know.
Doctor set, but
That's where the seafoam green comes in. They changed it to the bleached out white though.
then
during the Tom
later on
Baker.
they added to bleached out white, and even then there's not it's not exactly with the third and fourth Doctor's original sets either.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of it's kind of almost like a pastiche, because if you listen to the sound of the console, it had that chime in there when it landed from the 5th, 6th, and 7th Doctor era. I was listening. It had the background display case from the 1st Doctor era, where he used to go to check the fault indicators.
Yeah.
And the beeping that it made was the console. The other beeping when she was pushing buttons was the sound the console used to make during the 4th Doctor era.
Yeah, that's like a weird pastiche of all different freaking phases of Classic Who.
And then you add to that the fact that to the left of the door there was this huge freaking LED display screen showing shit that had never been in the TARDIS before. And other little bits and pieces that were simply wrong that we know these people would have gotten right.
That makes me wonder if someone like, and that makes me squint at that Chibnall interview, because that makes me think of something like like a Valyard sort of construction where they created this person to be a fake decoy doctor of some sort.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
that's not my
Yeah.
theory.
Mm.
My theory goes back to what Jack Harkness told Graham and the others. How they defeated the Cybermen. They sent something back in time through space to end the Cybermen. How far back in time did they send it? Because if they sent it to a point that it interfered with the Doctor's own timeline, we may be seeing time trying to rewrite itself within this universe. Thus, the incident that wore down the first Doctor, i.e. 10th Planet, never actually happened, and the Doctor didn't regenerate under those circumstances. Thus, regenerating in a timeline that didn't involve Cybermen. But because they did that, the alliance to stop the Cybermen never occurred. Therefore, they never sent something back in time. Therefore, we're in the middle of a paradox. And the paradox is starting to cross itself. So we've got two legitimate doctors from two timelines existing within the same universe meeting each other. Blinovich is having a fit right now.
It's an interesting concept, but I'm not sure that would be the answer.
It's the only one I can think of that fully works.
I will say that I would like that idea better than some of the other bad ones I've been hearing and thinking of too. And it's just like,
But that takes the choice down to the Doctor with the lone Cybermen at the end of the series.
yeah, that
Stop the
raises another
Cybermen
question.
from getting what it wants, destroy the Cybermen, destroy my own timeline, or give the Cybermen what he wants, bring the Cybermen back, maintain my own timeline.
Again, that's a possibility, but I'm not sure that's one I would. I'm not sure that's one they thought of, though.
If they
Although
did, I will give them.
I think if that happened,
One at a time.
I think if that actually happens, because they wouldn't want to put the Doctor in the position of making such a selfish decision. They would so the Doctor has to realize that's the case, and then somebody else makes the decision for her in some way, either by accident or on purpose.
But either way, that would mean that might be where the series is going. And if so, I have to give them massive kudos because it's, again, at that point, because it looks like, they're playing Insert a Doctor, which is, I'm surprised none of you went for Insert a Doctor. The War Doctor method of, hey, look, there's an additional Doctor, because they do that. I'm pissed off.
Yeah, if they do that, I'm pissed off. If they do that before all of canon Doctors, I'm royally pissed off.
Because that fucks everything we've known about the Doctor's regeneration.
That's literally just taking a piss on the entire franchise, and I will not stand for that.
That breaks the fundamental law. The Doctor can only have 13 lives, with the exception of the Doctor now having a new regeneration cycle.
Yeah.
I just thought of another possibility, and I don't know how likely it is to be possible again. But something like the next Doctor, except happening to an actual Time Lord.
Like somehow there was a chameleon arch primed and maybe copied.
Copied the Doctor's memories and put it into a different Time Lord, maybe?
That wouldn't explain the alternate TARDIS, though.
Yeah, that was still
right.
Explain the TARDIS, and it wouldn't explain why they're both the same Doctor.
I could see, like, if a Time Lord, like, had their, like, brain messed with and thought they were the Doctor, they'd be like, oh, well, I should have a police box. It's a symbol of hope.
That still doesn't explain a lot of other things.
It doesn't explain why the sonic screwdriver that she scanned both of them and it came out the exact same reading.
Yeah. And they both realize, same brain.
That's true. Yeah, that's a little different.
And I guess that's also why it being kind of like the War Doctor wouldn't work, because the War Doctor is acknowledged as, you're just in a regeneration. I have wiped
I
from.
acknowledge you as a previous
Yeah.
regeneration. I just refuse to acknowledge you as the Doctor.
Yeah. Whereas this is like, I have no idea who you, like, neither of them know
I know
who
my
the other
lives.
is.
I can count my lives all the way back. You're not one of them.
Not to mention,
Yeah.
the War Doctor was technically the doctor of the missing time gap between series.
Yeah.
And both of the War Doctor's regenerations were filmed.
Yes.
Mm.
The 8th and the War Doctor, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the 8th and the War Doctor into 9.
The in and out, yeah.
Yeah, although we didn't fully see Eccleston at the end of it, there were hints.
There was hints of Eccleston coming through on that one, yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Not to mention, I think it ended on his voice.
I don't remember that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Either way, the Ruth Doctor does not fit into that template at all.
Nope.
Mm.
Nope.
Yeah.
Better have a really damn good excuse if they're going to try and poke
Yeah,
that again.
it is one of those things where, as interesting as it is, it really depends on if they can stick the landing.
Yes. That's my
Mhm.
number one issue with this is, are you actually coming up with something clever, or are you just going to flop on your face?
Are you going, well, it worked for Moffat? Yeah, Moffat had the maneuvering room. There isn't any maneuvering room anymore.
As much as we diss and
Moffat
piss,
locked all the maneuvering room into place with.
as much as we had trouble with Moffat frequently, that was one of the things he actually did really well.
Yes.
Mm.
And we know he basically created the War Doctor as well to bridge that so he could deal with the ending of Regenerations.
Mm-hmm. So that way he could set that up, yes.
Now, granted, there are people that have the issue with the fact that it conflicts with some interpretations of God damn it, what's the story? The Frankenstein pastiche in the Fourth
Brain
Doctor.
of Morbius.
That's the one.
And we don't deal with the Brain of Morbius.
You know what those other images of strange people were? Those were Morbius's previous lives. End of story.
Made or something made up by the Doctor to use Morbius.
Either or.
Again, it was like, it's what
We're
was
going
originally...
to all the interpretations now.
Yeah. It is kind of funny in that was like originally intended to be previous Doctors, but because it's never explicitly stated, the fandom has basically just gone, nope, here's an explanation for what it could be instead. And the BBC has basically gone, okay, yeah, fine.
And they basically canonized the number of regenerations, yes. Because the show actually canonized how many regenerations you can get.
Yeah, that's the thing. They didn't canonize Regenerations until after that. Back when they were going, Time Lord has 13 lives, I think was done in Deathly Assassin, yeah.
Yes.
So like about half season to a year later, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's my theory. You've stated yours. Anybody else have any additional theories?
Nothing I like.
Well, I will say I've never I don't understand, because I only know about this because someone I watched a YouTube video about brought it up, and it was very like shot down quickly. And I'm like, yeah, why would that even come up? Is some people were trying to argue, oh, maybe it's Susan. And I'm like, no, they would have just said it's Susan.
Yes, it would have just said it was Susan.
It still wouldn't work with the whole same form.
Yeah.
It's not the same brain.
Yeah.
Not the same brain,
it's
not
like,
the same
it is
scan
one of
to
those...
the same person.
I mean, it would have been interesting if they'd gone with Susan, but, you know.
They really do need to cross that road one of these days. Please, while she's still alive. Crying out loud.
Like, even if all they did was bring the
Carol
original
Ann Ford is
actress
still
back
with
to
us,
regenerate.
pretty please with sugar on top.
All right. So, does anybody have anything else to say about these interpretations at all?
Not that I can think of,
that's
no.
all I wanted to say for now, yeah.
Okay, so we've got that out of our system.
Yep.
All right, so let's go to our what we liked about the episode. And Bill, you are up first.
He's AFK at the moment.
Oh, well. God damn it, Bill.
Bill,
all right.
Come back,
Him.
Bill. Me?
Yes.
You want to know what I liked about this episode?
Go ahead.
Mhm.
Oh, I just loved the mystery of the Ruth Doctor, as we've just thoroughly discussed. And I love how this is a great episode in itself, and it sets up, the mystery of what's going to happen throughout the rest of the series.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
Or at least it's probably going to come to play again when we hit the end of the series.
Yep.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to bet she'll show up again in the finale.
Yeah.
Likely.
Yeah.
Yeah. To tag onto that slightly, I do like, and I said this to Randy before we started, is that I like that we're getting we're getting new stuff now instead of it just being Spyfall, nothing, and then the finale.
Yeah. All right. So,
Do we have a bill back?
Bill,
Yep.
what do you like about the
What I liked
episode?
about the episode.
Yep.
So
So
right, I spent so much time thinking about the new parts. I hadn't broken things down in a separate way. That we haven't talked about. I mean, I'll say, leaving the question marks on the air for the moment, I liked the Ruth character. I liked that she had a good personality. She had a good costume at the end. She definitely is someone that was interesting to see on screen. Had a bit of a range to what she did, and I don't mind seeing more of in the future.
All right. Matt.
a basic overall thing I liked about this story. I like that we also, with everything else going on, even before we got into the mystery that was Roof, we had this interesting crossfire thing going on with the Judoon, with them trying to investigate somebody, and the Doctor trying to get to the bottom of what on earth it is that they're trying to do here. This seems like a odd setup already as it is, with these two people and all these mystery things behind them, and what all else is going on. And I do enjoy the fact that the Doctor is at least trying to play good cop to the Judoon's bad cop.
All right. Thomas.
I feel like I probably had something else, but I'm actually going to go with something me and Randy were talking about before this started, where when you rewatch this, it's like, son of a bitch, they telegraphed the hell out of that reveal, and it's like, fuck. Like, pay attention to Ruth's watch. It's the color of the police box.
The fact that she's even looking at the watch.
Yeah.
Her first sequence.
Yeah. The Lee is referred to by Gat as a faithful companion or something like that, and it's like, fucking hell, they weren't exactly subtle when you watch it the second time through, and it's just like, shit, how did I miss that?
Yeah, as soon as Gat said companion, I raised an eyebrow. Like, who are you? Are you Ronnie? It'd be nice to have the Ronnie. Haven't had a Ronnie in a while.
So.
Or that one villain the Sixth Doctor mentioned. I forget what their name was.
Terrible Zodin.
Zodin, yeah.
Actually, the second Doctor mentioned her first.
I just remember it coming back in the Sixth Doctor in particular. And who's Zodin anyways? Oh, they don't make them like her anymore.
And the terrible Zodin. Zodin? Oh, you weren't involved with her, Brigadier. She happened in the future. Yes. We never did get the answer to that.
Nope. Still haven't seen Zodin yet. Waiting on it.
Maybe the Zodin is the person they sent back in time to defeat the Cybermen.
Oh.
Anyway, so my favorite thing about this episode can be summed up in one word: Jack.
Captain Jack.
We left
leave
the,
the obvious
the
one for
low-hanging
Randy.
fruit for Randy.
Yeah.
Because God, it was just great to see him back in that role, and you could tell he was enjoying being back in that role.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was just having a good time, and it's the freaking smile on his face.
He's revisiting all the old hits. He got to play Malcolm Merlin earlier in the year, and now he's back as Captain Jack.
Probably with quite a bit of hair dye.
Yeah. I was looking for gray, and I couldn't find any.
So it
It's
was
an
either
easy
dye
fix.
or possibly a wig or
No, that was no wig. That was an easy fix
That's
of
hair
some dye.
His hair is decent. It's just gray now.
Mhm.
So yeah, they put in some hair dye,
Mm.
and it worked well. He still looks.
Yeah,
Jack.
otherwise he looks almost damn near the
Yeah.
same.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So his hair needs to fall out and become tentacles.
And he just
All
becomes a
right.
floating head, Bill.
So, what did we dislike about the episode? Bill.
Ooh.
I don't know if this is too obvious, but Jack just being in an offset that never really interacts with the Doctor or really the A-plot at all. Which is why I really need him to be in the finale, because it felt like, at best, a tease. So
Yeah,
that tease needs to pay
a
off.
giant bloody
I mean,
tease. It was so annoying.
Jack-
That's the one thing annoying about it.
I mean, Jack is nothing if not a tease. So
What kind of tease we will not say on this podcast.
I don't know about that. Jack is usually willing to follow through. It's others that
Jack
tease
doesn't
him.
really just tease unless we're just cutting away in the next 5 minutes.
It's usually the Doctor pulling everybody away from Jack that causes it to be a tease. So
Right? Can't count how many times the Doctor's blue belt Jack at this point. Awkward silence.
All right. All right, Tim. How about you for least favorite?
Well, Bill sort of took mine, that the fact that yes, Jack is back, and we're all glad Jack is back, but then he just stays in one place and doesn't really. I was so looking forward to him reuniting with the Doctor, and that's not going to happen. That's kind of disappointing. But at least Jack is back, So I think I'll have to pass because mine.
At least, for me though, the reason I put it in the light, because that means at least Chibnall is willing to work with John Barrowman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Moffat never did.
Mm.
Because you noticed when Moffat took over all the RTD characters, save Billy Piper during the 50th, never got a chance to show up.
No.
Yeah.
Anything that he wasn't directly involved in all got cut off.
Yep.
Yeah. And I guess it also, in a way, helps that Chibnall was involved with Torchwood, so he had worked with John Barrowman outside of Doctor Who.
That's a possibility too.
We never dealt with Jack. We never dealt with the Doctor's daughter, Jenny. We never dealt with Martha or Mickey or
which is funny because
Donna.
Moffat introduced Jack.
Actually, Russell T Davies wrote the character. Moffat just included him.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, the character, by the way, was written specifically for John Barrowman. That was the only person they had in mind when they made Jack. Because I from what I hear is Jack is just Barrowman turned up to 11. and Barrowman himself is kind of a 10, so it's not that far of a click.
Make sure he gets some strong teeth today.
So if we get contacted by John Barrowman, we know it's because Randy called him a 10.
Okay, comment. I like to have you all know I'm actually 11 all the time.
All right. So Matt, how about you? What about you? What did you dislike?
I disliked just realizing how much nobody, even in universe, cares about the companions.
Oh,
Literally, all 3 companions randomly get scooped up by Jack without even
And
a
the
blink of
doctor
an
just
eye from
keeps
the
going.
doctor. And matter of fact, we even opened the episode with them watching the doctor as he's trying to find the master, and they've literally been watching her for 20 minutes. How much does the doctor not care about her own friends, air quotes on that one, that she just ignores them and keeps hunting for the master?
It is kind of the they are kind of the bitch companions at this point.
They
Where's
are
Grandpa? I don't know. He's
the
always
fourth
behind us.
wheel.
I
They're not
stopped
even the
watching.
third wheel at this point. They're the 4th and 5th wheel at this rate.
It's the
My
doctor, the
word.
guest stars, the supporting cast, the companions.
And it's a shame because I know these companions have some acting talent behind them, but they're just not allowed to do freaking anything.
I want to see Yaz and Gwen interact. That would be a scene.
Where they for whatever reason those two have to split up and do stuff.
Yeah. Do some detective work and
It'd be interesting.
Yeah, and the fact that we enjoyed Jack so much just kind of shows the huge difference between earlier New Who and current New Who.
Yeah.
Just oof.
I mean, even the worst companion of the Russell T Davies era, Martha Jones, you still enjoyed her.
You still enjoyed her. You still like
She
having
got
her
shafted.
around.
Yeah, she mainly just got shafted because she was the post-Rose companion.
Yeah, that was just
So
like
the Doctor
bad.
was just
That was
being
just
angsty.
yeah, that was just Dr. Angst and just
even
like
the companion
bad time.
everybody liked, everybody disliked in series 1 became a full 3-dimensional, interesting, liked character by the end of the RTD era.
Yeah.
Which one?
Or
Mickey.
I meant Mickey, but then I just realized that there was
technically
also
goes for-
I forgot there was also
companions.
Mom. Well,
Jackie.
Rose was I was gonna say Rose was a full companion. I kind of forgot that Jackie was technically a companion at some extent.
Mickey had his 0 to hero moment, and it
Yeah.
A couple of times actually.
it
Jackie
worked well.
had her 0 to marrying into money moment.
That's all she wanted. Was her hubby back.
Yep. But yeah, it's the companions from that series, and even most of Moffat's companions.
Yeah.
I mean, Amy was a character.
Oh yeah.
Amy and Rory in particular were a decent team.
Very much so.
Clara was a character, although she did get on your nerves at times.
She did get a little weird at times. It just made you go,
yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody liked
Bill.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, just you. Bill was almost universally beloved.
So
compared to this.
all the Moffat era companions were decent companions, and then you get these guys.
Except for Danny Pink.
Oh yeah, Danny Pink was an atrocious abomination.
That's why he only lasted 1 season.
Yeah. He existed trolley to die. It's like, fuck you.
Danny Pink gets cat pulled out the window. Bye-bye, Danny. We hardly knew.
And what's his face? The guy that lasted 1 episode.
Adam.
Oh, Adam. Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised I remembered him by name.
But
Right.
those were exceptions, not rules.
Yeah, those were definitely exceptions.
Yeah.
But the majority of the main companions were well thought, full on characters that contributed.
Mm. It is
Where
one of
now
those
we-
things. It is one of those things where it just reinforces. Yeah, 3 companions is too many.
Yeah,
I'm
because
not
they
even
don't
sure
get.
it's 3 companions. It's just that none of them are getting written very well at all. Like,
Mm.
you could at least focus on 1 or 2 of them
Like,
and get them through
yeah.
and push
I
them
mean,
properly. But no.
Russell T did 3 companions at one point. Boomtown, where
Yeah.
you had Rose, Jack, and Mickey.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. And arguably, he did it in School Reunion because you had Sarah Jane,
Oh,
Rose, and
actually, that was like 4 companions. 5, actually. You got Sarah Jane, you got K9, you got Mickey, you got Rose. 4. 4
Mhm.
companions. Blew it away out of the water.
Yes, because everybody got their time. Everybody got their moment of realization.
Mhm.
Everybody got character growth.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. And
What
again,
have
even
we-
in Spyfall, like one of the things we liked about Spyfall was that the companions all actually had something to do.
Yes.
Mhm.
Whereas
It was like
now,
the one
whereas like
shining
pretty
moment.
much
Now,
every pretty
3
much every
episodes later, it's
episode-
like,
pretty much every episode after it's been like maybe one companion has had something to do, or they've all been sidelined.
And I can't honestly say that any development that's gone on with the companions lately has actually been a
Hmm.
sticking constant development.
Yeah.
They just go back to being sticks
yeah.
in the mud in the background again.
Yes, had the moment where, yes, I get to do a cop. I get to talk with the other cops. I get 5 seconds of line and
Bye-bye.
Yeah. As like I've said it before, but I do kind of hope that this is Graham's last series because his story arc was series 11 and that's done.
Kinda.
And now it's like can he just leave the TARDIS now?
And
I love
now
him.
his
I love
now-
him, but
yeah,
it's just like, yeah.
Now his role is being old and being behind. Like before, I mean, yeah, there was the bit of he was old and
his
complained
role
and
now is being
always
old
needed a
and
snack,
The
but
thing
now it's
is-
worse.
look at where we are. They're doing a second series. This is about the point that companions are usually thinking of leaving.
Yeah.
right,
Mm.
right.
Which in a way could be where all this like the Doctor keeping secret stuff could be potentially leading.
Yes, but my
I
point
guess.
is this is the point that they'd be thinking about leaving, and we have at least one character that's had virtually no development and no decent screen time since she
Mm.
came
And
in.
I
Yes.
remember
Yeah.
about 2/3 of the way through last season, we were kind of hoping that after the completion of his arc, Graham was going to leave the TARDIS so that Yaz could get some
Mm.
character development.
Yeah. Like
And
I
that
still
has
do
not
think
happened.
it was a missed opportunity that Graham didn't sacrifice himself in Resolution to get rid of that Dalek. But oh well.
At this rate, to be quite honest, I'm starting to wonder if these, with the current group of writers, can even handle more than one companion at a time.
I really
Well,
think
they could handle they've shown they can handle at least 2, but 3 is a bit much.
They can only handle 2 when they're tied directly to each other for a while already.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like Ryan and Graham were the main focus of series 11.
I think
Yeah.
Chibnall was a little too ambitious.
Mm.
He was used to writing for a large ensemble cast, and
Mm.
Doctor Who
Yeah.
doesn't work too well with a large ensemble
Right.
Yeah.
cast.
because like I mean, he had Torchwood, Law and Order, and Broadchurch,
Mm.
and Doctor Who is fundamentally different than any of those,
Yes.
Mhm.
even Torchwood.
The
Mm.
problem is, with Broadchurch, you have an ensemble cast, but each episode builds off the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
I've not
You
seen
don't
any
have-
evidence of that in this season
You don't
or in the
have
last.
multiple
that
stories.
much.
You have one season-long story for something
Yeah.
like Broadchurch. And
Mm.
here, no, you have a bunch of individual
And heck-
self-contained episodes with some minor tie-in.
Torchwood season
Hmm.
2 is basically at least half of it I think was one long story too.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, yeah.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's this is where the ensemble cast has a problem, and it's just not working. Okay, so who was that one?
Me.
That was Matt.
Okay, so Thomas,
me?
you're what did you dislike?
Let's see. God, I feel like I probably had something that hadn't been taken, but I'm kind of blanking. Well, we kind of talked about it before, and I was probably going to weigh in then, so I'll just use it as a thing here just to bring up. Because it's something that I liked, but it could technically argued be a dislike. It's like we get to see Ruth's TARDIS, and it honestly kind of looks better than the TARDIS we're stuck with.
It does. It does.
Actually, yeah.
I was waiting for that one.
It does. Well, like we said, it is a pastiche TARDIS, but it feels like a fucking TARDIS.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's like an homage.
I think the colors
TARDIS.
work a lot better for a
It actually feels like a TARDIS as opposed to what was it? The Fortress of Solitude in bad lighting.
Yes. The freaking Protoss TARDIS.
That's a slam against Protoss, sir.
But they do crystal pillars, so that's kind of where I was going with it.
Yeah, but they have better lighting.
All right, TARDIS. We need to go back to 1837. We require more pylons.
that would make an improvement.
All right. All right. So my least favorite part of the serial was the creepy stalker cafe guy.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
gonna bring him up
God.
too eventually if no one else
Yep.
covered him. Yeah.
I'm sorry. The second he dropped down a dossier on her husband. I'm just like, my brain started playing Weird Al's "Do I Creep You Out?"
I honestly, it was even before that when he was just like the anything for you, Ruth, and then like that's weird enough on its own, and then he mentions that and then he reveals he already knows she's married, so it's like, so you're just that guy.
Yeah.
Like
He
that was
can't-
even before the
He
dossier.
can't make a freaking heart in the latte, yet he can compile this huge freaking dossier. You're in the wrong job, fellow.
Right.
You need to be a private detective or some shit.
Mm.
The problem is, you're too creepy.
Yeah. Well, at least he gets killed, so.
Yes, he gets killed, thankfully. Although that is one of those cases of the Judoon being way oversensitive.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like if you pushed an American cop, you'd have the same result.
They'd shoot you dead?
Well, okay, maybe not if you
Yeah,
met his
choose your words
demographics.
wisely.
There are demographics in this country that would probably face that level of retaliation.
Or if not shot, at least choked.
Yeah, I'm not sure about just immediately shooting someone
And
in public.
not doing that, assaulting an officer, sentence, death.
Right.
It's like, holy shit, fuck, no. But no, he was a
Speaking
creepy
of which,
guy. He deserved
was it another member of the platoon whose job was to shout "sentence complete," or was that like a sound effect built into the gun? Like, I wasn't sure about that.
I think that was supposed to be someone else.
Yeah.
It's like sentence execution, boom, sentence complete. Like a little eager there.
Fucking Judge Dredd rhinos.
Yeah.
I am the law. There's another thing that they could have the Judoon say that I would just fall over laughing. Don't you pay attention to the law. Statement. I am the law.
I do hope that at some point an outtake or something comes out where they've just done that to test out the thing.
I would hope so, because I would.
I want to go to a freaking convention with Nick Briggs and have him say that and record that. Hey, Nick, can you do the Judoon voice? Why? I want you to say, statement, I am the law. Yeah. You'd probably do it, too, because you'd probably find it hysterical.
Well, technically Judge Dredd is a British comic book. He probably knows all about it.
Yeah,
All right.
he's probably done it on set.
Wouldn't be surprised.
All right. So favorite scene. Bill.
Favorite scene. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the one that I've been thinking of, even though it's probably high on everybody's list. But that's the benefit of going in the uncoveted first spot. So I'm going to say Captain Jack's appearance on screen. Did you miss me?
Yeah. I feel like the best reaction I saw to that was like a thing on Twitter where it's just like, yes, I did, and don't leave. That.
I don't know. There was a pretty good reaction in our chat where it's just all of a sudden we just see in the group chat. Or like,
Yeah.
did a cat step on your keyboard? And then Doctor Who made me squee.
Yeah. Well, it actually did, because like it was clicking as his voice came over, and I'm just like, no, and then I was just like, and it was like, holy shit! Like that is the first time Doctor Who's ever got that out of me, and it was like,
That wasn't a squeal. That was
I
a
didn't even
squeal.
know. Well, yeah, but still, it was just like, holy shit! I needed a while to recover from that. It was insane.
Yeah. So yeah, it's yeah, that was going to be mine scene, and you took it, Bill.
Of course.
Damn.
All right, Tim, how about you? What's your favorite scene?
The scene where the Doctor and Ruth Doctor share the brain for the first time, speaking the same things at the same time. That was just amusing. And then they both realize what they're doing at the same time again.
All right, Matt.
I'm trying to decide something that doesn't get affected by something bad at the same time. Something bad or questionable. Oh, actually, a later scene with Captain Jack. So you're the female one now. Are you the Doctor, or because this is getting a little ridiculous? Sorry, no, my
Hope you
name's
saved the
Yaz.
receipt on that scoop.
It's just
Yeah, 3 of you. I thought I think I had a dream about this once.
that too. Yes.
Well, it's funny because there were 3 on the TARDIS during at least one of his stories.
Though he was one of.
Well, he was one of the 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So technically, he was waiting for one more.
Jackie. Oh, good.
All right. So Thomas.
Yep. Ooh. I'm trying to think if I'll go for one that's kind of obvious or save that, depending. You know what? Screw it. Yeah, I'll go with a different one. And if the one that I was going to go with first isn't brought up, I'll bring it up. But yeah, I'll just go with the Doctor's already made the platoon of Judoon near the moon thing, and then she's like just desperately trying to think of another rhyme, and it's just like near the lagoon.
Actually, it's more of a canal. Yeah. So I'm going to continue the every other one doing a Jack scene and do a slightly later scene, which is Jack and Ryan. Ryan starts at Jack. It's just like, oh, she likes him mouthy now. Better than cheesy. He's my new favorite.
Okay. Because I didn't have access to subtitles and I could never quite make out that exchange.
Oh yeah.
Like I got the Jack, oh, I like you, but
yeah, no, it's Ryan, I forget what Ryan said, and it's like, oh, she likes them mouthy now. And Brian responds, better than cheesy.
Mm.
And that's when Jack turns around and does that little thing with his fingers and points, he's my new favorite.
That's right.
And I'm just like, oh God, that's so Jack.
You don't care that you dissing him. He'll convince you otherwise later.
Mm. Yeah. My other choice was actually a bit before.
Oh,
Jodie says she is the Doctor to Ruth, and it's like, I feel like I'd remember when I went through this phase, the rainbow stripes and the pants that don't reach.
I think I'd remember that shirt.
Outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like they're both back and forth of, oh, well, you're one to talk kind of thing.
Yeah. Get a Doctor versus Doctor cat fight there. Yeah.
Oh, like your old-fashioned sense is one to talk about.
All right, least favorite scene. Bill.
So I'm going to go with, I don't know, I'm just assuming there's more than one coffee shop in Gloucester. But Lee orders a cake from the guy that hates him, who apparently offers to fight him every time he comes in for a coffee. The cake is
Sorry, just a moment. I'm going to see if I can do something about this. We're having a connection issue all of a sudden.
Better. It's completely and totally, utterly unprofessional.
like most of what I hate about that scene is him, but also why does Lee even go there if he knows this is the result? Like I get if it's the only place to get a coffee, if it's the only place nearby to get a coffee, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But why get your cake from there? Again, Gloucester's like a small bumblefuck place in the middle of nowhere no one's ever heard of, to my understanding. Like it's something that
there's got to be multiple bakeries. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be a bakery somewhere.
Like, the coffee I can kind of get because she disregards him every time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably just like it's close to where she works.
Right.
So it's like fair enough. But yeah, with the cake, it's like, okay, you could have gone to like anywhere else.
You could have gone to a proper bakery. Yeah. That just made. Oh, you're looking for a fugitive? He was just here. Yeah.
It's like, fuck for that. Like, if you wanted something better than that, you could have gone to, I don't know what's the English equivalent of Stop and Shop.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't know if Britain has embraced the supermarket concept yet, but they probably have bakeries.
Supermarket? I think they have something to those lines.
Mm-hmm.
I know there were supermarkets in Spain, so I would be shocked if there's none in England.
Mm-hmm.
And usually a supermarket has a bakery.
Yeah.
Where you can custom order a cake.
Right, that was what I meant, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so why trust in the guy that wants to fist fight you is beyond
And they
me.
had a car.
Mm.
They used it
Did
later in the episode.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, they did. What the hell?
Yeah.
So, if the guy knows that this guy's a fucking asshole, I would go across town and get a fucking cake.
Right?
Okay, so I'm looking at apparently the population estimate as of like 2 years ago for Gloucester was over 129,000 people.
So there's definitely more than one bakery.
Madison size.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's decent size to large city
We
size.
have about
There's no
50.
reason.
Good to know.
I was going to say Danbury is only about a third smaller than that, and you can pick your choice as to what country you want the bakery, tradition to follow.
Yes. We've got frickin' Clausen's Bakery in Middleton. We've got Greenbush Bakery on Regent Street, and those are the two I know that I go to. Usually if I go to a cake, I go to Clausen's.
Not to
I
mention,
don't
there's a
go-
variety of other options, including if you're really desperate for an ice cream cake, you can go to frickin' Dairy Queen.
The fact is, I don't go to the local coffee shop and ask for them to make me a cake.
Right?
Especially if the guy there thinks I'm an asshole
We think he's an asshole too. We go somewhere else for
and is
coffee.
trying to move in on my wife. No. No. It makes no sense.
This guy?
Okay,
Forget
next.
this guy. I'm going on.
Next, Tim.
Okay, so the reveal when the baker guy puts down the dossier he's assembled.
Do I creep you out?
Yeah, because that makes me question: is like he doesn't have a past, and that makes me wonder, like, well, by the episode's launch, like, shouldn't she not have a past either?
Apparently,
Well,
she does have some sort of past because of
Yeah,
the lighthouse
the
and
past
stuff.
is that she was raised in isolation. That's
Basically.
kind of
Yeah.
hard to verify.
Plus, he
Hard to verify,
doesn't
but it's
really
also
so
not
much.
hard not to prove.
Mhm.
Yeah. Plus, he doesn't so much care about her background because he wants to
Right.
get with her, and he
Yeah.
just wants to get Lee out of the equation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's
as
a-
motivated.
Again, do I creep you out?
Yep. I really, honest to God, that should have been our bump. Just having the baker and the Weird Al's, do I creep you out? Yeah. All right. All right. Matt.
To me, something that's not the the coffee shop. God dang it! I just
I
had
mean, there
one, now
are
I
other
forgot.
scenes in the coffee shop.
Um,
We had every second one was a scene about Jack before, so every second one can be the guy in the coffee shop.
Actually, okay, I remember what it was now. Doctor and companions reach the Judoon. Where's Graham? Ah, fuck it.
Oh yeah, he's always a couple steps behind. I've stopped looking now. Fuck you, Ryan.
Shorthand. We don't care. He's just poofed somewhere. No one cares. No one cares about these companions. Further evidence. Good day.
Even the companions don't compare about themselves.
Right?
It goes to show that yes, Graham's time has passed. When they're going, hey, where's Graham? Who cares?
Who cares?
It's that's the point that you're that no, you're done.
Yeah. Where's Graham? I'm not his babysitter.
Yeah. All right,
Whoops.
Thomas.
Oh
my god. I've been getting so many images missing.
You know, yeah, I might just have to pass because I can't really. I feel like if I had one, it's been taken, and I just can't think of a backup. So yeah, I'll just pass.
All right, pass. All right, so
That's the AC.
dropping the ones that have already been picked, my least favorite is the Judoon mistaking knitting for an offensive weapon.
To be honest, that was almost a runner-up for my favorite, just because it's like, okay.
And then they turn around and pretty much vaporize her. I'm just like,
Just for her moughing off at them, yeah.
Well, no,
That's
it's like-
what
Well,
the
for
heck?
running
Yeah.
away. For running away and refusing
yeah, she
to be
runs
scanned.
away. Yeah, she refuses to be scanned, runs off. They shoot her. There's like I forget exactly what the context is for why they vaporize her knitting thing, but they like hand her a thing. It's like compensation for your weapon.
My assumption is they looked at it and it looked like a weapon, so they just made sure to nullify it.
Or it was just a case of them being dickish cops who were just like, "Fuck you, we're gonna destroy that thing because we can."
well, they actually said here is reimbursement for your weapon.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They did say it was a weapon. They thought it was a weapon.
Yes,
So yeah,
that's my problem
Yeah.
is these are futuristic space rhinos.
they should
that
know
are
that it was
looking at-
obviously not a weapon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, to be fair, you could stab someone in the neck with a
Yeah.
with a sewing needle like that.
Oh, enter image from
It could be a
Halloween 1
makeshift.
here.
But with helmets, freaking knitting needles should not be considered fucking weapons. It's like, guys in it's like people with freaking bone clubs going against guys in like, medieval armor.
I'm kind of wondering what the compensation was. Was it like $100 off of your next
No, it was probably in
Judoon
galactic
purchase?
credits. Yeah.
Mhm.
Probably
Yeah,
in
I was thinking gift card.
what probably in nargs or whatever the galactic currency is that's absolutely
Mhm.
worthless on Earth.
Mhm.
Right.
So she wasn't getting it back anyway.
Yep. All right, let's go to final thoughts. And Bill.
All right, final thoughts. So yeah, big episode. Still hard to like sum up because there's so many like big different parts.
And it's kind of hard to engage when you're not knowing where it's going.
Right, yeah, that's a big part of it is like I like this episode now. The finale will tell me if I love the episode or if it was just, a waste of time.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is an episode whose rating is definitely going to be retconned by the end of the series.
Right.
Oh, I'm willing to wager.
So that said, definitely a lot of big moments. I do remember watching it and being like, "Oh yeah, Captain Jack, that makes sense." Chibnall was, did major work on Torchwood. And then they mentioned a lone Cyberman. I was like, "Yeah, that checks." Or that scans. But yeah, so it was good to see Jack return. It's very interesting to see the Ruth Doctor. I want to see what happens next. Hopefully it's not just a gimmick and it's part of a good story. And I guess that's what there is to say right now.
All right. Tim.
A thought just popped into my head right now when Bill said lone Cyberman. What if it's the Brigadier?
Oh.
That might be interesting.
There's a brain tease for you.
Yeah. So, like I said, right now this doesn't feel like an episode so much as like it's like a setup for things. That doesn't mean I didn't enjoy seeing Jack again. I would have liked to have seen Jack do more than just be there and say hi to the companions. And I am anxious to find out the mystery of Ruth and how this fits into what the Master said about how they lied to us.
Oh yeah. Good point.
But I did like the dynamics between Jodie and who was the actress who played Ruth?
Joe something. We should have actually had that, although that would have been a massive spoiler if we had put that in the credits.
Joe Martin.
But I do give props to that actress for like being able to convincingly switch personalities between Ruth and then the Doctor. Shades of David Tennant doing it in Family of Blood.
It's probably what they had her watch so that they.
Or something they hinted towards either way.
No. This episode has got me more excited for future episodes than for being able to enjoy this episode itself. So those are my thoughts.
All right. Matt?
This episode is a massive can of worms. Needs more John Barrowman.
Isn't that a universal constant?
Needs more John Barrowman. Also, current companions need actual development that sticks.
Yes, but
The
that's on
the play
that's
between
an
the doctors
ongoing
is
series problem.
the play between the doctors was an interesting one on this. I'm still not sure what to think about Ruth because everything is just kind of hanging in the air right now, and it's really annoying. We'll see how this goes. Yeah, either way, I got an idea of what I'm going to rate for now, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be changing it by the end of the season.
All right, Thomas.
Yeah, this is while I'm glad that we didn't have to wait for the friggin' two-parter finale to get more stuff like this, it is kind of a weird thing where it's like, okay, setup and then more setup. Will they actually stick the landing is like the part of me that's like, as much as I enjoyed this the first time through, and as much as I still liked it the second time through, it is like I still have to be wary and like not get too hyped because you never know. Doctor Who has a bad habit of setting all this stuff up and then shitting themselves when they actually get to following up on it. So I hope they can stick the landing. I still enjoyed this episode even though I'm tempering my expectations. And a weird thing I did notice is that you could basically skip any episodes between this and Spyfall, and you didn't really miss much as far as the ongoing plot goes.
Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Which
an
I
issue
would
we had
hope.
last season.
Yeah, which I hope is not an issue between, because we're at the midway point now. We've got like 5 episodes left. I hope we at least carry a bit through before the finale, but in either case, I'm happy with what we got. With what we've got now. I just really hope they don't fuck it up when it comes to the finale.
Stuck the landing, didn't pull out the curl in
All
time.
right.
The Russian judge just gave them a 3 out of 10.
So mine is Judoon. Loved him. Love to see a Davies era monster back again.
And especially when it's properly updated.
Jack. Loved him. Give me more Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he needs more time. I want more Jack. Just basically more Jack, please.
A proper Doctor and Jack moment, please.
Yes, I want to see them subtly flirt with each other because that's what they do. The new Ruth Doctor thing, I'm of the opinion that it's either going to be very awesome or very crappy. There's no middle ground for this one.
Yeah, there's not gonna be a middle ground on this. This is gonna be one of the two.
I also love that they left it with a lead-in to the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of something we haven't seen since the early days of Classic Who.
We actually are gonna
So-
tie the 2 episodes together, and they're not just technically a 2-parter.
Well, not since the Titanic.
I guess not since Utopia.
Well,
too.
actually, does the first 2 episodes of Series 11 count as a 2-parter because they sort of have it?
Actually, that's right. That is kind of a 2-parter, isn't it?
Mm.
They did cliffhanger us in the first episode of season 11, where they're just caught in space.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I guess they're doing that a little more. Still, that's always good to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which makes this an enjoyable watch at the moment, but I'm not sure how I'm going to feel in 5 episodes.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm gonna feel at the end of the season. That's gonna make or break this episode, and probably the rest of the series.
It's going to be, it's either going to become, oh my god, this is a 5-star episode, or oh my god, this is a 1-star episode.
Oh my god, this is a 1-star episode. This is a terrible season. I think
Actually,
I might be
no,
done.
it'd probably only be about 2, because at least you have Jack.
The
All
1
right, so
star
let's
is
go to-
Jack.
Let's go to ratings, and yes, I'm pretty sure all of our ratings are temporary ratings.
Yep.
All right, Bill.
So, yeah, with the caveat you already mentioned, I'll give this a 4.0.
All right. Tim,
I will stand with Bill and give this a 4.0.
Thomas. Or wait, is it Matt next?
Matt next,
I
yeah.
was gonna
yeah,
say.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the spreadsheet, not the order. So
Yeah, I can't decide which way I'm going to be going with this. So I'm going to be staying in the middle, so 3.5.
Matt lowballs it with a 3.5. Thomas.
You know what? I honestly, this probably is my favorite episode of the series thus far. So I'm actually going to knock it a bit above Spyfall for now and give it a 4.5.
Offsetting Matt's 3.5. And I will play the safe bet and give it a 4.
Which I must admit, I saw that coming, so I was basically trying.
My gosh.
I kind of went 4.5 on purpose.
So with all of that, of course, that makes Bill, myself, and Tim correct by giving it a 4. Matt lowballing it and Thomas highballing it. And
Thomas,
with
you're
that,
a goit.
Wait a minute, Bill wasn't the lowballer this time?
Nope.
no.
I'm looking at you,
he's
boy.
a goit, not a smeghead.
Surrounded by goits. Oh, you're a goit.
Okay.
I'm a what?
Which will-
Good.
We'll put this at 153 out of 328 things reviewed. It is on par with such titles as Heaven Sent, Terminus, The Invisible Enemy, Castrovalva, Light at the End, Planet of the Spiders, and Rose. It is better than Knock Knock, The Deadly Assassin, The Brain of Morbius, ironically enough, Colony in Space, Warrior's Gate, Into the Dalek, etc., and is worse than Oxygen, The Daemons, The Pilot, It Takes You Away, Closing Time, The Girl Who Died, Fires of Pompeii, etc. So that is all we have to say currently about Fugitive of the Judoon. Again, this rating is temporary and will probably be retconned at the end of the series.
Most likely. Take it away, Bill.
All right, so I'll do my best to make sure this goes on YouTube as soon as possible because we want to hear your comments definitely below. And of course, don't forget to like the episode or dislike if you do, either one. And subscribe to keep getting our updates on YouTube or follow to keep seeing our new streams on Twitch.
All right, next week we continue with Series 12. And following the Doctor as chasing all these events across the globe in Praxeus, written by Pete McTighe and Chris Chibnall, and starring Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, Bradley Walsh as Graham O'Brien, Tosin Cole as Ryan Sinclair, and Mandeep Gill as Yasmin Khan. And maybe seeing more of the Ruth Doctor, we don't know. Either way, see you next week.
Ta-ta.